Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the SimNFL show. Real talk about fake sports. I am your host and commissioner. You can call me Pierce. We are 3 weeks in to the 2027 season of the Pro Sim over at SimSN. If you're unfamiliar, come check us out on the website and on Discord. We would love to have you. So, as usual, we'll start today with the stats and summaries from all of the Week 3 games, culminating in my choices for the Players of the Week. We'll do a quick injury update, and then our feature today is our rookie stock watch. This is something we do early in every season, talking about if the rookies were a stock market, who would I be buying and selling and holding on based on their early performance and their prospects so far. We'll cover the top 10 for sure, and then a smattering of other players that have seen some playing time. And then once we're done with that, we'll wrap things up with our preview for Week 4. So thanks for stopping by. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 20-17 in our Thursday night football. Travis Kingery triumphing over Brandon Savage. Baltimore on their first possession converted 2 third downs to put together a pretty nice drive, but a Savage interception at the Tampa Bay 26-yard line by Juwan Gray ended that drive. Then on the next possession, Savage had a 41-yard pass to Andrew Jones, but that ended in a missed field goal. Finally, in the second quarter, the Ravens finally got on the board. Another long pass from Savage, this time to his wide receiver Murphy, gave them 25 yards. That led to a successful field goal and a 3-0 lead. Tampa Bay would respond with Kingery finding James Taylor for a 17-yard pass to convert a 3rd and 12. Then Kingery would run for 17, and that would set up Jared Guy for a 20-yard touchdown run, putting Tampa Bay on top 7-3. Baltimore would take the lead right back, Savage hitting his tight end Don Scott for a 46-yard gain, and then passing a touchdown pass to Andrew Jones from 9 yards out to put the Ravens back on top 10-7. Later in the second quarter, the Ravens were driving again. They got to the Buccaneer 18-yard line before Bo O came through with an incredible series of plays. He forced a fumble that the Ravens were able to fall on and keep possession. And then on the next play, the Ravens ran it again, and Bo forced another fumble. This one was recovered by safety Jeffrey Cullum, and Tampa Bay took possession. So consecutive forced fumbles on consecutive plays for Bo. That kept the Ravens from increasing their lead. In the third quarter, a Brandon Savage interception was returned all the way to the Ravens' 32-yard line. That led to a field goal that would put Tampa Bay on top 13-10. But later, Ravens would take it back with a 50-yard touchdown run from James Livingston, by far his biggest play of the day. 17-13 was the score at that point. Then in the fourth quarter, Tampa Bay drove 51 yards in 10 plays, but they would miss a 38-yard field goal, and the lead would stay at 4. They got the ball back, though, with 7:16 left in the game, and Tampa Bay, in 7 plays, would call 6 runs, driving 51 yards, and then Kingery would carry it for the go-ahead touchdown from 4 yards out, making the score 20-17. Tampa Bay back on top again. Baltimore would drive down to the Bucs' 28-yard line, but needing just a field goal to tie, Savage threw an interception to Jason Green with a $1:53 still to go. James Taylor would get an 11-yard run to convert a first down, and that was enough for the Buccaneers to run out the clock and escape with the win. Travis Kingery, 16-26, 130 yards, 89 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. Jared Guy added 55 yards in the score, and of course Bo O with those 2 forced fumbles. Ravens had a lot of possessions in Bucs territory that led to no points, including 3 interceptions from Brandon Savage, offsetting his 333 yards in the score. Livingston had a 50-yard touchdown run, otherwise 8 carries, 8 yards, and a fumble, so the Buccaneers were able to mostly keep him in check. Don Scott, though, did have a great day, 6 catches, 121 yards for the Ravens. But it is the Buccaneers who escaped this back-and-forth contest with the 3-point win. Moving now to our Sunday slate of games. The Jets defeated the Browns 41-29 to get their first victory on the season and keep the Browns winless. Jets scored on their first drive when Jeremiah West found Will Huber for a 22-yard gain, and that set up Russell Latimer, the converted quarterback turned running back, for a 38-yard rushing touchdown to open the scoring. Then on their second drive, a good punt return set up the Jets near midfield, and then West found his tight end Hawkins for 22, which would set up another Latimer rushing touchdown, this one from 8 yards out. Cleveland got their first points later when Ryan Johnson, a 29-yard run from him, set them in field goal range, and Chappa converted a 31-yarder to make it 14-3. Then in the second quarter, after a missed Jets field goal, Cleveland put together a 13-play drive, including a conversion from Dominic Anku to Trenton Adam, gaining 18 yards to convert a 3rd and 16. That drive would lead to an Anku touchdown pass to newly acquired tight end Randy Wright from 4 yards out, cutting the lead to 14-10. Then a West interception by linebacker Lewis Dell led to another Anku touchdown pass, this one 5 yards to Ryan Wilson. The extra point was missed, so it was the Browns' lead 16-14 at that point. But the Jets would respond, West finding Huber for gains of 17, and then Prochnow for another 22-yard gain. And then West capped off that drive with a touchdown pass to Nick Suarez from 6 yards out. 21-16 was the score then. The third quarter, the Jets would build on that lead with Latimer's third rushing touchdown of the game, a 33-yarder, making it 28-16. Cleveland would keep it close. In the fourth quarter, Dominic Anku had a 46-yard run, which would lead to another touchdown pass to Thomas. That made it 31-26, Jets leading by just 5. Then later, a kickoff return by Wilson for the Browns was got all the way to the Jet 43-yard line, setting the Browns up for a short field. But after another first down, Cleveland had 3 consecutive negative plays, pushing them, it would seem, out of field goal range. But Abel Chappa trotted out and nailed a 61-yarder, longest of the season so far, to keep it at 5 points. It was 34-29 at that point. The Jets got the ball back with 3:36 and then needed to clinch the win. West found Huber for gains of 13 and 17. And then with the clock running down, Jeremiah West actually ran it in for a touchdown from 19 yards out to give you your final score. So West, 24 of 37, 298 passing yards and a touchdown, along with that rushing touchdown to clinch things. Russell Latimer, 10 carries, 110 yards, and 3 scores. Will Huber had over 100 yards as well. Dominic Anku completed 17 of 27 passes for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, but did throw 3 interceptions. Ryan Johnson, 65 total yards and a fumble for him, as the Jets emerged victorious 41-29 is your final score. In a cross-conference battle of unbeatens, the Vikings beat the Jaguars 20-16 to go to 3-0. This one was a close defensive contest for most of the game. In the first quarter, the Vikings drove to the Jacksonville 29-yard line, but a cynic interception to Robert Kennedy ended that drive without points. But later, though, the Vikings would find the end zone in the first quarter. Sinek had 5 straight completions for a total of 73 yards on that drive, ending with a touchdown pass to Marcus Dade from 12 yards out. So the Vikings were up 7-3 at that point. Then in the second half, Sinek would convert a 2nd and 20 with a 25-yard pass to James Blank. But he would get picked off near midfield by Kennedy again, so still no points there. Minnesota would tack on 2 field goals in the third and fourth quarter to take the lead 13-9. But then in the fourth, Jaguars would go back on top. Rivera hitting Campaverde for a 24-yard gain. And ultimately, Philippe Johnson of the Jaguars would run in a touchdown from 2 yards out to put Jacksonville up 16-13 with 5:40 to go in the game. Minnesota then went 3 and out. Jaguars got the ball back. Juan Moore immediately ran for 12 yards for a first down. But the Jaguars' next 3 plays would not gain enough. They would have to punt it away. And Minnesota's Adrian Daniels would return the ball all the way to the Jacksonville 14-yard line. And then with $1:12 left, Sinek first threw an incomplete pass, but then followed that up with a 14-yard touchdown to James Blank for the go-ahead score. Minnesota's defense held on for the final 2 plays to preserve the win. So Sinnock, 17 of 29, 259 passing yards, 2 scores and a pick. One of those scores went to James Blank on one of his 9 catches for 123 yards. James Rivera, 30 of 40 for 237 yards. Ryan Peterson had 138 yards on 28 touches, but did have a couple fumbles. Robert Kennedy, again, with those 2 interceptions. Those were key at keeping it close, but the Vikings did prevail 20-16. Vikings go to 3-0. The Panthers defeated the Broncos 34-17. Carolina scored on their first drive with Kelvin Dupree getting a 20-yard catch and then a 32-yard touchdown run to open the scoring. Then later in the first, Link would complete to George Lovejoy for 11, and then Dupree again for an 18-yard pass, and then cap things off with a 1-yard touchdown pass to Russell Barnes to make it a 2-score lead. Denver, though, would respond when Eric Smith broke a 37-yard run. Denver would get a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line, but the Carolina defense would hold them there and force a field goal attempt, which was good. And then Carolina would respond in kind. They had a good kickoff return, and then they drove 54 yards in 7 plays, ending with a Dupree 9-yard touchdown run to go up 21-3. In the third quarter, Broncos showed a little bit of life when Gordon Wilburn picked off Dakota Link and ran it back 52 yards the other way for a pick 6. The Broncos would add a 2-point conversion and make it 24-11. Then in the fourth quarter, Carolina drove to the Bronco 32-yard line, but Link threw an interception to George Kent on 3rd down. So down 10 at this point, the Broncos drove to midfield, but this time it was Murray's turn to throw an interception. This one picked off by strong safety Brian Johnson, who returned it all the way to the Denver 8-yard line. 2 plays later, Link found Marco Thompson for a 3-yard touchdown, and that sealed it up by 17, and they held on to win. So Wayne Murray completed just under half his passes for 125 yards, did have 1 interception. Eric Smith lost a fumble as well. Meanwhile, Dakota Link, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 2 rushing touchdowns for Kelvin Dupree, who had over 130 yards of total offense on 20 touches. So Panthers win this one, 34-17 is your final score. The Chiefs defeated the Chargers in an AFC West clash, 38-21. The Chargers would score first on a Harrison Rodriguez 4-yard touchdown run, but Rodriguez was injured on that drive, would leave the game, and would not return. And then Kansas City would respond with Giovanni Rosenberg breaking a 30-yard run, and then chop to Jesse Walter, a 39-yard touchdown bomb to tie the score at 7. And then after a defensive stop, KC got the ball back and scored again. This one, Dedrick Smith, a 43-yard touchdown run for the Chiefs to take the lead. Chargers would drive to midfield and then would go for it on 4th and 1. But Aguilera was stuffed on an inside run, and KC took over with great field position. Chop threw a completion to Daniel Ellsworth for 17, and then would call his own number from a yard out to run it in, making the lead 21-7. The Chargers, though, would respond. They drove 75 yards in just 7 plays, and that ended when Richard Ludwig, the tight end, lined up in the backfield and then took an inside handoff on the triple option, 30 yards for a touchdown. On the first play after halftime, Chop found Ellsworth for a 51-yard gain, leading to another touchdown run from Rosenberg from 6 yards out, putting the Chiefs back on top by multiple scores. The Chargers would respond, 8-play drive with Aguilera running on 6 of those for a total of 58 yards, and then throwing a touchdown to Richard McGuire from a yard out. Though in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs would break away again. James Carter getting a 45-yard run. The Chiefs would ultimately drive all the way down to the Charger 2-yard line, but they got stuffed on 3rd and 1 and had to settle for a field goal, making the score 31-21. And then later, after a stop, Kansas City would get the ball back with about 10 minutes to go, and they put on an incredible drive to clinch the game, an 18-play drive covering 88 yards in all. They converted 4 third and longs, as well as a 4th and 4 on that drive. So 5 key conversions in 18 plays total. Final play was a chopped touchdown pass to Daniel Ellswick from 10 yards out. That made it 38-21 with under 3 minutes to go. So the Chiefs burned over 7 minutes of game time, which would have been enough, and then added the touchdown as the cherry on top to come away with the big division win. David Chop was 23 of 30 in this game, 325 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Giovanni Rosenberg scored a rushing touchdown. Daniel Ellswick joined the end zone party as well. Miguel Aguilera, 144 passing yards and a score, 63 rushing yards. But the Chargers fall to the Chiefs by a final of 38-21. The Bears came back and beat the San Francisco 49ers 24-10 for their first win. Late in the first quarter, San Francisco downed a punt at the Chicago 6-yard line, and then on 3rd and 11, Gerald Lewis was picked off by safety Luke Richmond, who returned it into the end zone for a touchdown, and the 49ers were up 10-0 after the defensive score. But the Bears would claw their way back. Lewis, on the next drive, finding Jackson Freitas for a 22-yard gain. That drive actually ended at the San Francisco 36-yard line with an interception to Bobby Gonzalez. So second interception for Lewis there. They wouldn't get on the board with the Bears until the second half. Another drive with Lewis making big completions to Jackson Freitas for 14, and then to Evans for gains of 20 and 22, and then connecting with Evans a third time, his tight end, for a 5-yard touchdown, bringing the Bears to within 10-7. And then in the third quarter, more big special teams play. Chicago's Jonathan Watson returns a punt to the 49er 37-yard line. Lewis, 3 straight completions from there, including a 9-yard touchdown to Nick Evans. Bears finally take the lead, 14-10. San Francisco would get the ball moving on their next drive, Romero finding Carlos Ramos for gains of 10 and 19. San Francisco would drive to the Bears' 33-yard line, but on 4th and 1, they did not go for it, nor did they kick a field goal to try to get closer. They actually punted from the Bear 33, down by 4. Chicago then put together an 8-play drive and got a field goal, increasing their lead to 7 with about 8 minutes to go in the game. The 49ers went 3 and out, and then Gerald Lewis was at it again. Another huge completion to Nick Evans, this one for 22, and then to Freitas again for a gain of 14, and then a 2-yard touchdown to Freitas as well. So about 3 minutes to go, the Bears were up 24-10. 49ers would drive down to the Bear 10-yard line with some more big completions from Scott Romero, but the game would end there. So Gerald Lewis, 264 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 early picks, which he was able to overcome and lead the Bears back. A big day for Nick Evans, 7 catches, 95 yards, and a couple touchdowns. Scott Romero was 25 of 39 for 254 yards, so a solid day for him. Luke Richmond did have that pick 6, the 1 touchdown for the 49ers on the day. But the Bears endured, came back, and won 24-10 is your final score. As for the rest of the Week 3 scoreboard, Miami beat Pittsburgh 47-10. Dean Hammonds was 22 of 41 for 314 yards and a couple scores. Tennessee all over Indianapolis 41-7. Mitchell Reynolds 24 carries, 131 yards and 3 scores against his old team. The Giants beat New Orleans 13-9. PMS winning his first official start as a pro. He only completed 7 passes on 24 attempts for 79 yards. Did have a pick, but was bailed out by his defense, which did not allow a touchdown and sacked Landrum 6 times. Detroit beat Arizona, 31-3. Randall Hansen 29 of 36, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Arizona's rookie Kyung Hui was 20 of 39 for 149 yards and 2 interceptions. Houston beat Cincinnati to stay undefeated in the AFC. They're the only team who can claim that. 31-13 is your final there. A big day for Mike Bradley. Hoosier graduate, 16 carries, 139 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns to lead the Texans to the win. Philadelphia beat Vegas 45-27 in our second international game of the season. Fuentes was 35 of 50, 365 passing yards and a touchdown, and the Eagles rushed for 5 touchdowns as a team collectively. Dallas handled Atlanta 37-6. Vladimir Dawson ran 21 times for 119 yards and a couple scores. Similarly, Green Bay beat Seattle 33-6. Joseph Garibay 29 of 38 in the game, 367 passing yards and a touchdown with no picks. Buffalo beat New England on Sunday night 34-16. Yusei Asensio was 18 of 28 for 174 yards, a score and a reception. And then on Monday night, Washington put up 58 on the Rams to win 58-30. Morrison, another big passing day, 37 of 59, 553 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, did throw 3 interceptions, but Washington comes away with the win over the defending champs. So for our players of the week, got to call out Fuentes for a great game, 70% accuracy, mistake-free, no turnovers, 365 yards passing and a score, 58 yards rushing and a score. Mitchell Reynolds with those 3 touchdowns against the Colts. Mike Bradley with his 3 touchdowns, leading Houston to a win. And then Raymond Stelly of Washington benefiting from that big play offense with Morrison. 12 catches for him, 157 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. On the defensive side, Richard Davidson of the Rams had 3 takeaways, 2 interceptions, and recovered a fumble. Also a couple of pass breakups as well. Speaking of, Michael Nacarado of Denver broke up 6 passes from his linebacker spot in their game. Bo O of Tampa Bay had those forced fumbles on consecutive plays, as we mentioned. Also had 1.5 tackles for loss and a pass defended in that game. Nate Simeon of the Eagles, 2 interceptions for him on the day. And then Luke Richmond of San Francisco recovered a fumble, recorded an interception, and ran that interception back for a touchdown. So big day for him. Big day for all 9 of these players. Congratulations to them on being named my Players of the Week for Week 3. So quick injury update, a couple names to call out here. Jermaine Shuck of Buffalo, dislocating his foot. He'll be out a couple weeks. Michael Korkmaz of Houston. The Texans still having some bad injury luck. Strained a bicep. He'll miss 4 weeks. And then a couple other big names still out. Obviously, Hugh Kahn out for most of the season. Luke Trahan still out for Washington in that backfield there. Caceres of Denver will miss 1 more week, and then he should be back as well. A couple others who have recovered. Roosevelt Penn of the Patriots, their best lineman, has recovered from his pec injury. He'll be back next week. And then another big one, the Giants, Jesse Knoll. BMS did sub in for that 1 week. But they picked up Knoll to play, and he's recovered from his thumb injury, and I would expect him to start again next week. So, as I said, we are returning to our Rookie Stock Watch feature, which we do near the beginning of every season. I'm going to go through the top 10, putting them into 3 categories. Buy for players that I think are doing well or are going to continue to do well. Hold for players who I think show some potential, and then sell for anyone who I think might not have a big statistical season their rookie year. Again, this is just for this year. This is not me trying to define their entire careers, but you can see, based on just a couple of weeks of work, where I'm starting to evaluate everyone as far as their statistical performance in 2027. So starting with the top, first pick of the draft, Steel Blue is going to be a rough start for him. I'm putting him in a sell category. Has not been able to be a part of that offense yet. Has 9 targets, 3 catches for 31 yards. Oliveros has looked better for New England. I think there's a little bit of steam in that engine as far as the offense is concerned. I would like to see them incorporating Steel Blue a little bit more, especially since they made the big move to take him at number 1 over Prochnow, who I am putting firmly in my buy category, the second overall pick. Prochnow is 5th on the team with 11 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown so far through 3 games. So not completely lighting the league on fire. Again, I think he's third on the depth chart for them. But with Jeremiah West and that offense, getting a lot of looks, which is great. He's getting a lot of snaps. He's getting experience, and he is showing flashes of what he'll be capable of. Him and Huber is just a terrifying combination of young receivers. Lots of owners would do unspeakable things to get one young receiver of that caliber on their team. The Jets have two. So Prochnow fitting in nicely, and I like what he's doing so far. I like how the offense is using him. I think there's more to come from him in the near future. For number 3 pick, Kyung Hui, putting him solidly in the hold category. Again, not the greatest array of weapons in that offense currently. Hui doing the best he can. 79 of 139, so over 50% completion, which is great for a rookie. 660 passing yards in 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, which is not the greatest ratio, but interceptions are pretty high throughout the league, so it's honestly not the worst. Again, especially for a rookie in the condition he's been in. So I don't know about statistics this year. I think he has a lot of promise. I'm very much on board his hype train long term. I have him as a hold here on our rookie stock watch for this first year. But it's a strong buy for number 4, Daniel Johns, 4th overall. Tennessee made a big move up to acquire him and Mitchell Reynolds, and that is paying dividends. Johns has 50 carries for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leads the team, leads all rookies. So fantastic early performance from Johns. Putting a hold on Cooper Williams. He's the number 5 overall pick after Denver made a big trade up to get him. 0 snaps so far, so hard to say what we're working with. But the Broncos are 0-3, and they have even more of a difficult start coming up in the next 3 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to get some playing time, with Denver kind of committing to this revamp and rebuild and having a tough opening schedule. I don't know if Wayne Murray is just there to buffet the good defenses and then give Cooper Williams some winnable games down the stretch, or what the plan is. I think we will see some Williams this year, so I am holding right now until we get some game footage on him. For the number 6 pick, that's John Nunez of the Rams. Nunez has played 6 snaps, 3 of which were passing snaps, and he has allowed 1 sack on one of those 3 plays. Again, most of this is because of Rams' depth. They have still solid offensive linemen. They're just old. And so I love the Nunez pick. I think he's going to slot in there as a starter very soon. He's just not getting the playing time right now that he would need, that you would hope he gets. So I do hope he can develop accordingly. But right now the Rams are set with a lot of veteran offensive linemen, so he is biding his time on the bench. At 7, we have Hisashi Rudock of Minnesota. He's played 196 snaps already in 3 games, has 13 tackles. Again, it's not the most blow-you-away stat line, but he's getting his reps, he's getting his snaps, he's getting his playing time, starter snaps with the first team, and is not a liability by any means. So love what he's doing. I think he's going to be a great asset. Again, can play both linebacker, inside or outside, so can play absolutely anywhere on the field, and I think that versatility is going to help him in the years to come with the Vikings. Also a buy on James Livingston, 8th overall pick. He's looked fantastic. 35 carries, 237 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then 131 receiving yards on just 9 catches. So Livingston doesn't just lead rookies he's second to Daniel Johns in rushing yards, just barely, but he leads all rookies, including all receivers and tight ends, in receiving yards. So fantastic performance for Livingston. Huge averages for him, has a nose for the end zone. Ravens got to be ecstatic with the pick. Strong buy from me on him. At 9th overall, we have center Jack Walker of Detroit. Walker's got 85 snaps, so he's gotten a few snaps. He's 7th on the team, 7th on that offensive line in terms of play time. So not a full starter, but he's got 85 snaps. He's got 1 pancake, 1 sack allowed. He's coming along. Again, so still more to be seen there, but do like to see him getting in the game, and the Lions committed to developing him long term. At 10, we have Chris Pouncey of New Orleans, rounding out our top 10. Pouncey's only played 25 snaps, so limited engagement so far. But in his 7 pass rush attempts, he has 2 wins and a quarterback pressure. Again, baby steps, just kind of starting out, but there's already evidence that he could be a real quarterback nightmare in the future. Still love the pick for the Saints. Think long term, a lot of upside there. Strictly in a hold category now based on limited action so far. Jumping down a bit to number 12, we have Sean Johnson, tackle selected by the Eagles. He's tied for second on that offensive line with 211 snaps. A single pancake. Doesn't have any pass blocking snaps. Sort of the way the engine is working, there are 4 linemen who tend to take the bulk of them, and 1 is usually uncovered. So we don't have the numbers to see how he's been doing, if he's going to be winning against defensive ends in the league. But again, as I said with Walker, he's getting his snaps, he's getting his time. Looking forward to seeing how he will develop in the future. Jumping now to the 20th overall pick, that's Santosh Vo of the Giants. Vo has 92 pass rushing snaps already from his defensive tackle position, and from those he's gotten 6 QB pressures and 3 sacks. So 3 sacks leads all rookies. It's exactly what I want to see from a pass rushing guy, even a big body in the middle. I want to see him getting to the quarterback, and Vo is doing that for the Giants. 3 sacks in 3 games. Strong buy from me there. At pick number 23, we have Matt Van Roten of the Denver Broncos. It has not been a great start for MVR. He has 16 carries for 55 yards, fairly tepid numbers, especially when you consider that that's less than 3.5 yards a carry. And then Eric Smith and even fullback Josh Hathaway for the Broncos are getting more than double that. Like they're both of those starters averaging more than 7 yards a carry. So the infrastructure is there for the run to succeed with the Broncos, just as it has been in years past. Eric Smith and Josh Hathaway are taking advantage of that. Currently, MVR is not, which is not a great look for him. I would hope for him to be able to break some big runs and maybe get some cleanup time or stamina time. Again, the Broncos are 0-3, so they're not getting the substitute time that they might have been in a more dominant year. So that could make it difficult for MVR, especially if he can't break 4 yards a carry. So sell grade on him for now based on that early performance. Just behind him at 24 is Terrell Bernard of the Colts. Bernard has had a strong opening to his season, 28 tackles in 3 games to lead the team. Also has 2.5 tackles for loss and a forced fumble, so icing on the cake there. But again, the Colts famously calling for him to be, Rookie of the Year after week 1. I still think that's a tall order, but leading the team as a rookie in tackles, even just through the first couple of weeks, is a really strong showing from Bernard. Like what I'm seeing from him, and I hope the Colts do too. Then at 30th, we have Michael Marsh-Lillard of Cincinnati. Lillard is really making a name for himself in special teams. He has 9 kickoff returns for over 300 return yards, and then 4 punt returns for 87 yards. So very high averages there, even on small sample sizes. You like to see a rookie, taking the touches that he's given and making the most of them. In this case, Marsh-Lillard getting the ball in his hands on special teams and using his speed to great effect to help Cincinnati out with field position. Like to see that for him. Over 400 all-purpose yards already in just 3 games of returns for him. And then finally, leaving the first round entirely, going all the way to the 4th round, highest value I have on a pick so far is the Giants' Franklin Riggins, picked 130th overall in the 4th round. Currently 12 carries, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. Now, I know that one of those was a 60-yard run, so that's certainly inflating his average. But regardless, when you're talking about first round picks and are they living up to the hype, and then you have Riggins coming in as a fourth rounder, and scoring a couple touchdowns, breaking off a big run. It's great to see from a rookie in the lower rounds make an instant contribution. So maybe this is an opportunity to buy low, as it were, as the Giants did, finding this guy in the fourth round. So small sample size, maybe it's a flash in the pan, but I'm putting a buy grade on him for now, just based on the great value of him being a fourth rounder. So that is it for the rookie stock watch. If I missed any rookies who have had a big impact, please do let me know in the comments. And then a preview for week 4. We start things off on Thursday night with Seattle hosting Arizona on Thursday Night Football. And then early in the Sunday slot, we have Kansas City at Jacksonville. A couple of strong performers so far. And our game of the week is going to be Dallas at Washington, an NFC East clash with 2 undefeateds. First place is on the line in the East. It's also on the line in the South. And another early game, Tampa Bay is going to Carolina, a couple of 2-1 teams. The winner there will be in first place. And also in the NFC North, in the afternoon, we have Green Bay at Minnesota. 2 more undefeateds going head-to-head in a division matchup with the winner taking first place. So yeah, 3 different divisional contests will put the winner in first place in the NFC North. I know it's just week 4, but these are going to be big wins for whoever comes out on top. Big division wins, big head-to-head wins, and it's good to be in first place a quarter of the way through the season. Also in the afternoon slot, we have Detroit going to San Francisco to face the 49ers. Then we round things off Sunday night with the Chargers at Houston. 2 great rushing attacks going at it. Should be a fun game there. The Chargers at 2-1. Houston, again, the last undefeated in the AFC at 3-0. So of the 5 undefeateds left in the league, we're going to lose 2 of them at least, and it's going to be a challenge for Houston as well. And then we cap things off Monday night with yet another divisional contest. The Giants are going to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. 2-1 at 2-1. Yes, all 4 teams in the NFC East currently with winning records. And even with a pair of head-to-head games this week, will still be a force to be reckoned with. So that'll cap things off on Monday night. A great slate ahead of us, a lot of very competitive games, very good teams going head-to-head. Hope people stick around for all of those. But that is all I have for this edition of the SimNFL Show. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. And as I say to all users in all of our sims, good luck and have fun.